Towards the end of the steam era, railroads built some of the most impressive and technologically advanced locomotives the world would ever see. Although these were truly state-of-the-art machines, dieselization was already well underway, and many of these impressive steam engines would have very short working lives. The Reading Railroad of Pennsylvania brought us the mighty T1 class of locomotives. Built in-house at the shops of the Reading Railroad, these 484 locomotives entered service between 1945 and 1947. Although retired from active service only about a decade later, the Reading held on to several of these machines to pull the Iron Horse Rambles, a series of excursion trains from 1959 until 1961. At a time when most railroads were getting rid of their steam engines, the Reading had the foresight to save these awesome machines from the scrap heap. One of the T1s, number 2101, would have its number changed to 1 and pull the American Freedom Train to celebrate America's bicentennial. It would then later be renumbered back to 2101 to pull the 1977 Chessie Steam Special. After lying dormant for over 3 decades, it took almost 8 years of painstaking restoration work, but the Iron Horse Rambles have returned to the route of the Reading Railroad, this time pulled by number 2102. Riding behind this unique and powerful engine was a truly awe-inspiring experience. I could really imagine myself in the 1950s traveling from the coal mines of central Pennsylvania to the big city on one of Reading's famous trains like the King Coal. Now join me as we take a ride on the Iron Horse Rambles behind 2102. We arrive at Outer Station, just outside of Reading, Pennsylvania. Passengers prepare to board the train, but not before walking up front to check out our power for the day, the mighty 2102. We depart Reading Outer Station right on time at 9 a.m. as we begin our uphill climb to Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania. Before long, we are up to track speed as we roll out the first miles of our 2-hour and 45-minute trip to the town of Jim Thorpe. Our train stops at Port Clinton to pick up more passengers, then continues to Tamaqua, where we pass through the Tamaqua Tunnel. At Hawks, we leave the old Reading Railroad and join the former trackage of the Central New Jersey Railway just before the hometown Viaduct. At Jim Thorpe Junction, we pass the newly built Nesquehoning Bridge as we drop down the hill into our final station stop. Soon, we are at our one and only station stop of Port Clinton, where we pick up more passengers on our way to Jim Thorpe. Rolling into Tamaqua, we pass by the historic station. The conductor asks passengers to close their windows before we pass through the smoky Tamaqua Tunnel. We burst into daylight through a cloud of smoke at the tunnel's north portal. The train slows to a crawl as we prepare to pass over the hometown viaduct, high over the waters of the Little Schuylkill River.
Replaced by a steel structure, and in 1931 the Phoenix Bridge Company rebuilt the bridge into its current form. It was originally intended to be a double-track bridge to carry a planned main line running between New York and Chicago. During World War I, owing perhaps to its strategic location, the bridge was guarded by soldiers against trespassers and intruders. During World War II, security guards provided by the railroad watched the bridge around the clock.
At Jim Thorpe Junction, we break from the Reading and Northern Main Line to head downhill into the Jim Thorpe Station. Passengers disembark for a multiple-hour layover at the historic station. Built in 1888, the former Central Railroad of New Jersey passenger station is just steps away from many shops and restaurants. But lunch will have to wait, as once again, all the die-hard rail fans make their way up the tracks to get another good look at the 2102. While on our layover in Jim Thorpe, riders also had the option of taking a 70-minute round trip on the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. As the time for our train's departure back to Reading approaches, one of these excursion trains arrives into the station. The Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway is operated by Reading Blue Mountain and Northern, just like our train. The 2102 arrives back into town after being serviced in the yard. And the train crew allows curious onlookers the chance to climb up into the cab and see the inner workings of this impressive machine. The last Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway excursion of the day departs the station, clearing the way for our train to pull in. With the time for our departure approaching, the engine backs through the station, getting ready to connect to our train. But before our engine connects to the passenger cars, the crew puts on a show with a photo run-by, blasting thick black coal smoke from the stack, much to the delight of rail fans and photographers alike. The 2102 backs through the station once more, connects to the passenger cars, and pulls our train into the station for boarding. With all aboard, we begin our run down the mountain back to Reading Outer Station. With our engine gently coasting down the grade, gone is the thick smoke which forced us to close our windows as we passed through Tamaqua Tunnel on the way uphill.
Tamaqua Tunnel.
After a brief stop to discharge passengers and change engine crews, we roll out our final miles into Reading. On an adjacent track, we see one of the railroad's RDCs, which also pulls excursion trains on the Reading, Blue Mountain, and Northern. With all passengers disembarked, fans take one last opportunity to photograph the train in the fading evening light, as we reflect on our exciting day of mainline mountain steam railroading. Have you had a chance to ride behind or photograph 2102? If so, please post the links to your videos in the comments. And thank you for watching this episode of Rail Weekly. Like and subscribe to help us bring you more videos just like this one.